we go. Education in Africa, many would argue that it suffers from low quality teaching or even poor quality teaching, depending on the system. Now, here with me to answer a few questions is a good friend and Pan-Africanist by the name of Peter Galeh. Peter, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for your invitation.
Yeah, Peter, when you look at education system in Africa, do you think it needs reform? Do you think the education system in the continent needs a reform?
Obviously, yes. Education in the entire African continent needs a reform. You know, we are forced to believe that, as African, we are forced to believe that education abroad is simply the best, looking at what we are facing currently. You know, so education in Africa really needs a reform. For instance, I'm from Ghana, so basically I would talk more with my experience as a Ghanaian. You know, politicians are trying to play games with our educational system. For instance, if you go to Ghana, you know, every government has his or her own educational policies. We have two leading political parties in Ghana, that's the NDC and the NPP. When the NDC comes to power, they say higher education should be 3 years. When they leave power and the NPP comes power, they also believe that higher education should be 4 years. So, you know, we don't have, you know, a fixed system of education in my country, Ghana. So basically, the education system in Africa needs a reform.
So since we don't have the reform that we need, do you think it's appropriate for African students to seek education abroad?
Yes, I should say that because, you know, the sad thing is that our political leaders don't have the awards in any of the institutions we have in our countries, in our respective countries. All the leaders believe that it means they know that our system of education is so poor. So the awards are always studying abroad. So if the ministers, if the leaders of our country, people that we voted into power are taking the awards to study abroad, it means we also need to have education abroad. Perhaps education is a fundamental human right.
Right, absolutely. So how can we make changes? How can we change the minds of our elected officials that, you know, we need a reform in education? So I like to use Professor PLO Lumumba quote that he says, if African youth should have one duty, it should be to irritate those in power in such an organized manner that they have no choice but to do the right thing. That's from Professor PLO. So do you think that needs to be done for the elected officials to change this education system in Africa?
My brother, you're right. It needs to be done. But then how do we change these people? Already their minds are so corrupt that they are not ready to you know, make any changes in the educational system. So the thing is, we the youth now, we are the future of Africa. So we need to rise up and fight for what belongs to us. Because if we sit down and believe that our leaders are going to have any change of mind, then we are deceiving ourselves. Then this is going to continue for a very long time. And I'm very glad that I've met you. And I know with your voice, Professor PLO Lumumba is going to hear this. As it stands now, I believe he's the only mouthpiece of Africa's development. He's the only Pan-African we have on this planet. So I believe once he hears this, he's going to take this into consideration and help with the youth, because honestly, we are suffering in Africa. We are suffering in Africa. Our leaders are doing us more harm than good.
Yeah, Professor PLO Lumumba is indeed a great asset in the continent, a big voice in the continent, very loud, especially in education. Now, let me ask you this. To your assessment, do you think African youth or students learn necessary skills that will make an impact in our societies or countries? Do you think African students learn that?
African students are very brilliant, but the third thing is we lack infrastructure. We don't have the facilities. We are brilliant, but we don't have the facilities. For instance, a young guy who recently graduated from grade 12 in Ghana got a scholarship to study in the UK, I think Brunel University or so. He was the best among his classmates. So it means if we have the infrastructure, if we have the facilities, we can really make impact. But because we don't have, if you go to Ghana now or other parts of Africa, we still have schools under trees. Even proper infrastructure are not there. We have schools that don't even have a single laptop or a single desktop computer. Yet the educational system says we should have an ICT, that is information and communication technology. How do you teach ICT without a computer or a laptop? So we don't have the facilities. That is the main challenge or the main problem of Africa.
I completely agree with you. I believe that African youth or students are very talented, creative, and very brilliant. Let me give you an example. There's a young brother from Sierra Leone by the name of Kelvin Doe who built a generator from junk. He basically picked up broken electronics in the garbage and built a generator that generated electricity, not only in his house, but in his neighbor's house without proper education. So now, if we have proper infrastructure, as you said, facilities where we can learn, Africa, will move forward. Now, let me ask you, so let me ask you this, what would you propose as a solution to this problem? As we need infrastructure, we need material and resources, what would you propose as a solution?
For now, in my opinion, I believe that we don't have the money. With the youth, we don't have anything. And since our leaders are ready to provide us the materials, the infrastructure, that is why I decided to, go around the universities around, overseas, and then talk to them that this is the challenges we are facing. Come to our aid, because our leaders refuse to help us. So we need to help ourselves now. They refuse to listen to us. We've demonstrated, we've been on the streets, done so many, but they still don't want to listen to us. So it means we, the youth, we need to rise up and then fight for ourselves. So that is the more reason why I go around talking to universities to, at least help students from Africa. Because I believe that once we have the exposure abroad, study abroad, have the skills, we would be able to come back to develop our continent. But these our leaders are not going to do anything for us.
Yeah, you've raised a very relevant point about studying abroad. Now, that is a very good idea, and I strongly support that. But the problem with that is that when students come to study abroad, the majority of the students tend to stay, because after they graduate with a master's or PhD or doctorate, they get offered a good job in those countries, good pay, and then they end up staying in the countries where they were studying. And then when they stay, they will begin to solve the problems of those countries. Meanwhile, Africa remains the same. You get my point now. If everybody comes, and study abroad and they stay, who is going to make the changes that we want in Africa? So what's your assessment to that?
Yes, you're right, because in one sense, since our leaders refuse to value us, others are going to value us, right? But we are also rising to fight for this, the well-being of our continent. I always, talk to the student that I by chance get scholarship for them to study that. Listen, we are trying to fix our continent. So, you are going with the mindset that you are going to learn and then come back to help develop our continent. So that is the little we're trying to do. Obviously, yes, what you said was right, because for instance, if someone with a master's degree back in Africa is earning like 2,000 USD per month, and the same friend or colleague is also holding the same qualification abroad and is earning like 10,000 USD. Definitely, we all want to study, at the end of the month, get some job and then some good salary as well. So obviously, no one would reject a 10,000 USD offer as compared to a 2,000 USD offer. But then we are trying to, talk to our brothers and sisters that we need to develop this continent for the next generation. Our
Right.
leaders are not able to do that for us. So let's do it for our next generation. So yes, that is what we are preaching, that let's go out there, get the exposure, get the skills, come back, and then help to promote or develop the continent.
Okay. While we're at it, why don't you go ahead and tell the audience what you work with and how they can get a hold of you?
All right. So currently, I'm working with one of the best private universities in Dubai, that is Manipal University in Dubai. So what Manipal is offering now is that they're trying to offer a 60% scholarship to all African students. And also, irrespective of wherever country you're coming from, they are given a one-way flight ticket, in terms of support. And also, despite they have Manipal is doing well, they have a career service department that train the students, they prepare them for interviews, and then try to fix internships for them. So these are kind of the motivations that we need our institutions back in Africa to do. So obviously, you studying, let's say you're doing your undergrad, you're taking your Bachelor of Business Administration, and you
Right.
have so automatically it means before you finish your 3 years degree, you have a 3 years of work experience.
Right.
These are what we need, and these are what our institutions are not doing. You see, so that is the challenge. That is what we are trying to promote. So Manipal University is doing so well. And yes, I'm trying to go around Africa to talk to my fellow brothers and sisters that, okay, since our continent is not doing anything good for us, this is an opportunity. So let's grab it and then let's come back to develop our continent.
Actually, that's a very good initiative. Have you heard of PLO Lumumba Foundation? I think they do similar thing, but within Africa. Right. So they
Yes.
look for opportunities within, like, let's say you want to study engineering. If your country doesn't provide that for you, they will look for different countries for you, South Africa, Senegal. So PLO, so it's something maybe you can discuss with Prof. I will try my best to get the message across. And
honestly, I'll be so much grateful if I should by chance meet him, and because I have so many students, but Manipal University alone cannot do it. Like I made mention in our previous conversation that I'm trying my best to get to Kenyatta University in Kenya, and I try to talk to the management if they could be able to support, because we have lots of students from I've been to Ivory Coast, I've been to other places. We have lots of students who want to study. But for instance, Manipal is offering just 60%. So definitely that child somewhere in the village wouldn't be able to afford the remaining 40%. So I'm trying to look out for in as much as we're trying to promote education in Africa, we still have some good institutions in Africa that we need to promote as well. So yes, right now I'm considering Kenyatta University. So I'm trying my best to get in touch with them and see what we can do to promote this.
That's very good. And I strongly support that. I will support you with this project. So what is the process? How does it work? And how can they get a hold of you?
Oh, my name is Peter Galeh. Now we are in the global village. Social media is everywhere. My name remains the same on all social media platforms. Okay. And yes, I can, if you allow me, I can just put my number. And then in case anyone from anywhere is listening or watching us, they can get in touch. Let's see what we can help them. And I believe we can do that.
Yeah, please proceed with your number because I support your project and this is what I want. Yeah, proceed with every information you want to share.
Great. So my number is +971 55 140 6993. That is the number I use in the UAE. Okay. In Ghana, +233 241 78 5330.
Okay. So for everyone out there looking for, what is the requirement for that students have to meet to get these scholarships?
Right. I'm glad you've mentioned that. One of the challenges we face in Africa is that the requirement to enter into a university is too much. That is one of the, for instance, a student may pass all the subjects, and also we have so many subjects in Africa. I remember useless. a grade 2 child in Ghana is studying about 9 subjects, grade 2. So how do you expect this kid to memorize all the textbooks, all the 9 subjects? So that is one thing that we're doing in Africa that is so useless, and everything is theoretical. We don't have any practical facility.
Mm-hmm.
That is also another challenge.
Mm-hmm.
That is another challenge. So the requirements to enter into a university abroad isn't like what we have in Africa. What we need is, if you want to study your undergrad, like a bachelor's, you need your grade 12. Your grade 12, at least a pass, it's fine. There's no way they're going to say, because you had lower mark in this, we're not going to get you admission. It is not like that, because they believe that you can do it. They give a second chance. But in Africa, someone may pass 8 subjects and fail just 1. And because of that, that person wouldn't be given the opportunity to enter into tertiary to have a further studies. And that person will sit at home and doing things that he or she was not supposed to do. And at the end of the day, if they become armed robbers, we still blame the government. We still blame them. We blame them that they are jobless, they are this, they are that. But then we did not provide them whatever they needed.
So the requirement for the scholarship, is it to have a diploma or like a high school diploma and then apply?
Yes, if you're applying for undergrad, you need your grade 12. That is
grade
it.
12,
if you apply for masters, you need your bachelor's.
Okay.
That is it. No
okay,
much.
Okay, and for application, do they have to call you? Is there a website where they can go and?
Yes. We have. So if you just Google Manipal Dubai, that is it.
Okay, Manipal Dubai. Okay.
Manipal.
Okay. Now, also other frustrating things. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yes. Everywhere in Africa, once you get in touch with Manipal, the good thing is that since you are from Africa, they're going to direct you to me.
Okay.
So because I understand the language, so I will be able to communicate with you better. Then we proceed in terms of getting you admission or whatsoever. So all the applications coming from Africa are directed to me, and that is what I really appreciate.
Okay, so where are you based in Africa? Right now, I know you're in Tanzania, but where is your office or your branch in Africa?
I'm in Ghana. I have an office in Ghana.
In Ghana, okay. So for people in Kenya, Nigeria, or Senegal, they have to contact you and send the application through you, and then you process them and send them.
Exactly.
Okay.
A good thing, for instance, if I'm able to get 5 students from one country, what the university does is that they'll send me to that respective country. So I'll be able to meet all these students. I'll go with them from their countries to the campus. I make sure that they are fine, and then we keep in touch with them until they finish their programs.
Okay. That is very good. Now back to the topic. The other frustrating things, because I talk to a lot of students in the universities in Africa, is like, first, education is very expensive in Africa. Second, admission, as you mentioned, a lot of useless requirements. And then when they graduate, there is no job opportunities. After spending all this money, all these studies, no job opportunities, they end up seeking job outside. If they can't find one, they go Mediterranean Sea. I know you watch the news. If not, they try to walk to Sahara Desert, try to enter either Israel or any other country for opportunities. What is your take on that? What do you think we can do different in Africa to help those brothers and sisters?
This is a very big challenge, and I'm still thinking how we can resolve this. Job. That is the most important thing for every young African who want to study, because at the end of the day, what are you studying for? To get a good job, to make some money, take care of your family. Now, like we mentioned, education is very expensive, and they've made education in Africa in a sense that it's like, once you enter into education, you cannot do any other thing.
Right.
But elsewhere, you study and work at the same time. So you don't solely depend on your parents. At least you should be able to provide for yourself as well. So I believe that is the flexibility we need to introduce in our educational system in Africa. It shouldn't be 24/7 for 2 years, for 3 years, for 5 years. It is unnecessary. It is unnecessary.
Yes. And, you know, today's world we're in a digital world. So I think that, you know, our instructors or, you know, the ministers of education should have a curriculum where students learn necessary skills that will help them get jobs. You know, if you want to be an IT guy, just focus on that. You know,
Yes.
you want to be a businessman, just business instead of that's what they do here where I live, you know. That's it, that you focus on that, and that will help someone to learn a skill set where they can easily either start a small business or get a job. You know, what is your assessment for that?
You are right, my brother. For instance, an African kid may be naturally gifted to be a business personnel. I made mention, grade 2, she's already studying 9 good subjects. For instance, let's say that child is able to pass through, enter high school, and he or she is about to enter into university. And that child who wants or who was supposed to be a business person failed maybe, let's say, an ICT, or let's say maybe failed agricultural science, because we have a subject like agricultural science. That student failed agricultural science, and as a result of that, that kid is not given the opportunity to enter into a university. Meanwhile, naturally, that kid was gifted to become a businessman. So why do you have to, you know, build this child based on something that he or she is not interested in doing it?
Exactly.
So we don't have the skills to identify the talent or the potentials of our student. That is one thing I believe our instructors need to work on. They should be able to study our kids, our students, right from the beginning, so they can help the kid identify their talents, so they wouldn't worry them with so much subjects that are unnecessary.
I agree with you, strongly agree with you. So now, when I look at Africa, you know, I see a bright future. When I give example of Kelvin Doe, there was also a young man, brother from Ghana, building functioning car out of junk. You know, the Usman Toure from Gambia, talking to people like you, making big impacts in the continent. I see a bright future in the continent, but that future need to be nurtured, and it begins from up top, our elected officials, very corrupted, selfish. So what can be done? You know, African youth, what can African youth do? Because I know in Agenda 2063, the AU said that we have one of the themes is that we'll have free movement within the continent, meaning that you travel from Egypt to South Africa, visa free. I don't know if it's been implemented. I haven't checked the website lately, but what do you think African heads of states need to do different to support young talented who are coming up?
That is what Professor P.L.O. Lumumba always preaches, and they are not paying attention to him because he's a single person.
Yes.
Africa needs to unite. We have quality universities in the respective African countries, but because the unity is not there, we are not able to connect to each other. Like you made mention, movement should be very easy. Moving from Ghana to Nigeria should have been very easy. Moving from Kenya to, let's say, Lesotho should be very easy. You know, that connection we need the heads of state. I don't know, they always attend heads of state meeting. I don't know what they've been discussing. And we're still having the same challenges. So until that is being achieved, it's very difficult for us. You know, we need to see each and every one of us as like, we are brothers. We are all the same people, and we need to unite. That is what Professor have been preaching over and over again. And I believe this is the time they need to listen to him. We are in the 21st century. This is the time they need to listen to him, so we can collaborate, do things together.
Right. So now, when you look at the continent, do you think the poor quality education that is Africa, is it due to the colonial mindsets that our instructors have, or is it due to the corrupted leaders who are not enforcing the proper curriculum in the schools? What's your take on that?
It's the corrupt head of states we have who are not implementing the proper curriculums. For instance, it's obvious that Minister of Education in Ghana have his kids in abroad. He have his kids
always
maybe
they're here. They study abroad. Meanwhile, yeah.
So they know that what we have back home is so poor and bad that they can't keep their families and relatives in. So it's all about our leaders. It's all about leaders. It's all about leaders. We need reforms. They need to change our curriculum. That's what we need. Like I made mention, a kid in grade 2 can be studying 8, 9 good subjects at the same time. You see, so right. we need a reform. We need a reform.
Yeah. So to my assessment, what I see when I look at the future of the continent, like I said earlier, it's very bright. The talents are there, the knowledge are there. They just need support, like you say, facilities, resources. We have very corrupted leaders, very selfishness, as you mentioned. They know the system is corrupted. So that's why they send their children in America, Europe, Australia, Canada to study, to get better education instead of serving the people who elected them. So that's the problem that we have in Africa. So I thank you so much for joining me today, brother. And I really, really, really support your project, and I will continue to support you online. So let's touch base on another topic another day. Any last word that you have for the audience today?
I'm so much grateful for this invitation, and I believe that this is going to continue to, speak to our youth, our brothers and sisters, because the leaders have nothing to offer us. So this is the time we need to rise up. We're going to try our possible best. Let's do it for ourselves. I believe that we can do it for ourselves. Once they are not able to do it for us, we can do it for ourselves. So we should do it. We should rise up. We shouldn't depend on them because they have nothing to offer us. So right. let's rise up and do things for ourselves now.
All right, brother. Thank you again. We'll continue this conversation offline, and we'll find another topic, and we will meet again. Thank you so much, my brother.
Thank you so much.
All right. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.